There's a little beach down Gold Coast way. Gold Coast, Queensland. You know the place. It's all fake, the Gold Coast. Back in the day, Surfers Paradise used to be called Elston. Elston, can you believe it? Some punk from the marketing department, perhaps the original Scotty from marketing, decided that Elston sounded like a town inhabited by perverts, property tycoons, and shady white suit pastors preaching prosperity. So Elston was turned into Surfers Paradise, a much more suitable name for a town full of perverts, property tycoons, and pastors preaching their gold-plated Jesus. Well, right down at the tip of the Gold Coast, right at the bottom, just before you cross state lines into New South Wales, lies this little beach. And this little beach is where I found myself at sunrise on a Saturday morning just a week ago. Just before sunrise on the headland overlooking the curved earth and the sun casting gold-orange across the skyline. A little spot called Snapper Rocks. You probably heard of the place. Famous for surfing competitions and fierce locals and rock pools dragging hapless teenagers into the raging sea since 1936. 2 cameras and the memory of a pretty girl kept me company as I pulled the short collar up on my rugby jersey against the surprisingly light winter sea breezes. Locals in flannel shirts, board shorts, and worn-out thongs as we call them in these parts, slowly sauntered with paper cups of coffee, and little dogs plodding happily along in tow as they walked along the fenced boardwalk. 2 cameras, a digital and film, but those cameras are stories for another day, taking photographs for pictures of today. I met a fella with a Trump 2020 hat and a silver-grey goatee mustache sitting on an upturned bucket. He was leaning forward on the breakwall like someone praying to their sea god. He looked apprehensive as I approached until I smiled, commenting that his hat would sure get some interesting reactions. He smiled in response, in one of those southern accents in affirmation. We agreed on the current state of US politics, a conversation probably prohibited by those blessed YouTube gods and their centrist ways. Our catalogue of combined agreements has continued as we turned the talk to matters of photography and the beauty of this wondrous landscape. He moved here 20 years ago with his wife from North Carolina and settled very happily in this great Southland. Locals meandered, looking at the surfers, looking at the fishermen, looking out in the still shimmering orange ocean for signs of dolphins and whales. These parts, this great Pacific Ocean, sees the regular migration of humpbacks, heading north for the winter and south for the summer. Lazy, grey, graceful monsters of the deep breaching and diving in the currently cool ocean. Seagulls crying, "Looka, looka, looka, looka," cruised the updrafts of the headland and perched on painted white handrails of the walkway. Photographers with expensive cameras, obscenely long lenses and fancy filters dotted the shorelines and rock walls. They ambled awkwardly across the jagged rocks and sunk predictably in the soft, wet sand, struggling to manipulate their tripods with their heavy cameras. "Any bangers?" I asked a photographer who had a camera trained on a surfer riding a particularly small wave. He answered in the negative, but without saying no. Instead, he regaled me with the shots he caught the other day when the waves were much bigger and the surfers were much braver. The sun peaked its first rays over the ocean. The orange-gold sea turned into a shade of blue, green, and turquoise. Surfers appeared from nomadic vans, dressed in full-length steamers without shame in the public car park. Their tanned skin, cracked lips, and sun-bleached hair are testament to their commitment for chasing the sun. My camera click, 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 click of the sea and the sand and the seagulls. I spy surfers on the open side of the headland, riding waves wrapping around the man-made breakwall. Ocean-weathered pandanus lapped up the gorgeous morning sun. Tradies sipped dollar coffee from their utes overlooking the horizon, a warm-up before a busy day on the tools. Young couples pushed expensive prams with a well-wrapped baby in their morning walk. They'd been up for way too long, and they were looking down the barrel of a long day with a very, very tired baby. My soul feels revived and my spirit refreshed as I finish a roll of film and capture some final shots on my small digital camera. I've acted like a curious tourist in a place I love to visit, slowly walking, observing, enjoying, capturing memories. I've always thought it strange when people don't stop to enjoy, instead rushing by to photograph a nothing photo on their smartphone, posting and forgetting about it. A photo for the sake of a photo, a one-sided affair. A photo with no associated sensations, no memory and no sound of the waves or the chatter of the locals. A photo with no mention of the cool ocean breezes or the cheer of locals when the surfer catches a particularly good waves. No oohs and ahs of onlookers as the beautiful whale breaches just offshore. A photo snapped not of a memory but of a place where a memory should be, posted for onlookers to flick through with their thumb in the sea of dross that is social media. My little car wheezes north back up the highway. The boom chicka beat emanates from my tiny stereo system. Boom chicka. I find myself smiling, enjoying the morning and its beauties both small and large. The kaleidoscope of nature's colours, like God himself painted each stroke for me to enjoy on this particularly beautiful morning. Reality might be calling, but I'm happy to stay on hold in this beautiful moment for just a bit longer. I'm happy to stay shoulder to shoulder with you in this small, beautiful moment.